If you want great sound, tolerable volume, and cool good looks for your 2021 and newer 5-liter powered F-150 without having to pay a bundle of money, then the Flowmaster FlowFX dual middle side exit exhaust will be just the right choice for your truck. This is a great way to get some more attitude on a daily driven F-150 in a way that isn't going to drive you entirely nuts. Accordingly, we're going to give this one a strong 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. This is what Flowmaster describes as a moderately aggressive sound level, so it is definitely louder than your stock system, but not as loud as a straight pipe. And that makes it a great balance of all the good things you want from an exhaust. As I have said many a time around here, making the Coyote V8 sound good is not hard to do. However, keeping that volume in check is what can make or break the experience for you. The FlowFX that we have here offers a deep, powerful exhaust note while still keeping the volume in check. As you heard from the clips at the start of the video, this one really accentuates the 5 liters deep, rumbly exhaust note, and it makes it sound that much more pronounced. At low revs, you can almost hear each individual cylinder firing off, and personally, I love that. Now, this is going to be a catback system, meaning it will replace your factory mufflers and resonators, opening up that exhaust in a big way. You get some really strong muscle car sounds out of this, and even a little bit of burble on the overrun. This exhaust has a lot of character to it, and I think it suits the Coyote V8 very well, but it's not over the top, though it might still bring out your inner child when you mash the throttle. Now, of course, more noise on the outside of the truck means more noise on the inside, and since this is a middle side exit, the pipes are going to be situated basically at the end of the cab area on the passenger side. So the piping is physically going to be a few feet closer to your ear than the stock exhaust or in a typical rear exit setup. So that, combined with the sound profile overall, means that you are going to get some more volume in the cabin comparatively. While again, it's not over the top, it is something that you and your passengers will take note of. Though it should still be more than tolerable, you'll get to hear all that Coyote goodness inside the truck as well. And the look, well, this classic hot rod type of appearance with the dual black tips poking out just ahead of your passenger side rear wheel. It's subtle, but if you know what to look for, you'll clock it right away. And once you start it up, there will be no question that your truck has a little something extra going on. Now, all of that really is due to the FlowFX muffler that we have here. As you can tell, this has got quite a bit of baffling inside it, despite the fact that it is pretty much straight through. It does separate, however, right at the end here, so it's single in, dual out. This really is the key. This is where Flowmasters always get their sound from, and this one's just going to keep things a little bit more subdued than your typical Flowmaster muffler. And that brings us nicely to construction. Everything here is made from T409 grade stainless steel, and it's all mandrel bent. The piping is 3 inches going into the muffler, and then it splits again into that 2.5-inch tubing out to the tips. Those tips are 4-inch T304 stainless steel, and they're finished in this nice matte ceramic black coating. The T409 construction here will provide you plenty of resistance to rust and corrosion. All the welds look pretty good, and the case of the muffler is fully welded as well. Plus, the mandrel bending and that straight-through muffler design means that this will flow better than your stock system as well, being as there are less restrictions than your original. Pricing comes in at about $675, and that makes this one of the more affordable options available for these trucks. That makes this a really attractive offering in my book, since you're getting solid construction, great sound, and cool looks for a relatively affordable price. About the only place you'll have to sacrifice with this one is when it comes to installation. We are going to give this a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 2 hours to complete. Now, this is going to utilize some of your factory exhaust hanger locations, so for the most part, it is going to bolt right up, and everything you need to get it installed is included in the box. However, I say that with a caveat. There is a small amount of drilling that is required to get this one installed, but we're going to walk you through that process when we head out to the shop. One more thing to note though before we do that, Flowmaster does include an extension pipe here for certain trucks with different cab and bed lengths. Some of them need it, some of them do not. There is a guide that is included with the kit too, so you know exactly what truck needs it. And again, we're going to go over all that, so let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the install process.
First install, you need 3/8 impact and ratchet, a drill, clip removal tool, exhaust hanger tool, 15, 13, and 10mm socket, and a 17/64 drill bit. And also not shown be a lift and pole jacks. All right, today we're gonna put in an exhaust on our F-150. First, we're gonna watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock system, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
Start by grabbing your 13mm socket and undoing the 2 bolts at the flange. Next, take your exhaust hanger removal tool and get the muffler out of the isolator. Next, we're going to slide our exhaust towards the tail end so we can get them out of the 2 additional hangers. And then we're going to drop the whole exhaust as a full. I grabbed a buddy to help me out with that.
So our first part here is we're going to get our front pipe with our flange on there. Now there is a beveled edge on our flange, just make sure that goes towards our flared end. So I'm going to set this up top over here. I do have a pole jack just to kind of help hold this up in place. But now it's here you want to thread in your factory 13mm bolts. Just have them loosely installed. As you can see, we do not have any more threads, so we had to nut and bolt. So we're going to get our hardware and put that in place. And we'll come back and tighten this down after we get the rest of the exhaust on there. And get this just sitting like that for right now. So now before we move any further, putting any more exhaust on, we just need to move our factory hanger. So we're gonna move it from our rear spot to our front. So we're gonna pop our 2 bolts out, swap our clips over from here to here, and then we have a new hanger that's gonna bolt in like so. So we'll grab a ratchet, 10mm socket, pop these 2 bolts out. Now if you need to, you can grab either a screwdriver or I have a clip removal tool. Pop that out, slide it into our forward location. Same thing with the other one. You just have this little tab here. You just gotta get under. Now our hanger will face towards the front of the truck. We're going to reuse our factory bolts. Thread those in. Then grab our ratchet, 10mm socket, and tighten that down. Now in that spot, we're going to grab our hanger that has the, a clamp that has the hanger on it with our isolator. Just slide that over our pipe, and we can put that right in like so. And we can keep moving on and get our muffler on. So now we can get our muffler on here. I moved our pole jack down just so we can help support stuff. We're gonna slide that over our front pipe, and this clamp that we actually put on before is going to tighten down right over the inlet of our muffler. So we'll just slide that into place and let that rest there for right now. So lastly, we're gonna get our tips installed. Now I do have our clamps on there. We need to get our tips located up in position. I have another pole jack here to help hang it up. And then we need to locate and drill for our hanger here on the inside. So we'll get this up on the pole jack and into our muffler. It's kind of tricky with the 2 pipes, but just take your time and line it up. Make sure they're seated all the way in. Then we need to adjust our tips to our desired height and location so we can get our hanger figured out. So as you can see here, I slid our isolator over our hanger here. You can put it in how far you want. Now we are gonna take a drill with an 11/64 drill bit to get a pilot hole started so we can install the supplied self-tapping bolts. But you can either mark this up with a Sharpie or whatever, bring it back down, drill, and put it back up. I'm just gonna drill with it just pressed against the frame here. It'll get us to the roundabout area. So I had that top one drilled. I'm just actually gonna install our first bolt now. So we'll take our impact and 13mm socket, just get that installed. Now I did have to up our drill bit to 17/64, so we're just gonna drill this second hole and get our second bolt installed. Now we're going to start tightening our exhaust down, starting at the front flange. Now normally, like I said, you would have your 13mm bolts, which you would just tighten down, but we have a 17mm head, 15mm nut. We'll grab the tools that we need to tighten that down. Just when tightening it down, make sure that the pipe goes straight and angles down so that it is aligned properly. Now for the rest of our clamps, we're going to be using our impact and 15mm socket. We have our one at the front of our muffler, that's also our hanger. We'll tighten that down now. Then we just have our two at the back of our muffler. Just make sure your tips are seated fully in, and then go ahead and tighten these down. And that wraps up our install of our Flowmaster Flow FX dual exhaust system with black tips for a middle side exit for a 2021 and newer 5-liter F-150, excluding the tremor. And remember, for everything F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.